Hi, Nora. Hi, Bubba. Hi, Thorin. Hi, Bomber. Hi, girl. Bombies. What you smelling? You love the trail. He loves the trail, huh? Nora, do you like the trail? You like the trails? Doran, do you like the trail? Yeah. All the good smells. Good job. Good job staying with Daddy. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you. Good job. Good. Good job staying with Daddies. Good job, Nora. No leash, and y'all are just perfectly right beside me. Not running off, not running away, not disobeying or not minding. Just staying with the pace. Come on. Good job, boy. Good. Excellent. Good girl, Norca. Come on, man. Come on, mama. Yeah, that's a good girl. Y'all are doing so good. Y'all have done so good. Thorin is 6 years old. No, he is 5 years old. She is 4 years old. Nora is 10 years old. And we walk literally like this for about 30 minutes every day. Sometimes the walk lasts for maybe 2 hours if it's already the sundown and it's dusk. We'll walk for a couple hours and hang out, swim, go for a little ball or two, and just chill and enjoy the outside. Constantly working on their tricks and training and behavior. And the more time I spend outside bonding with them with the free range of motion and mobility, the better they are in situations that are unpredictable and difficult to maintain control. But the more times I curb their natural prey drive instead of giving into it by running off and chasing a deer, for example, the easier and easier it gets each time by my rewarding that behavior that's not negative but natural that they want to give into because it's instinctual. But by rewarding something that I want them to do instead, it trains them to ignore the instinct to run off and not look at Daddy first to see what I want them to do. Now they look to me to make a decision, and then at that point, if I allow her to go and play chase with the deer, she runs off and goes because I'll let her go. But if I say stay with Daddy, she will stay close and not try to go off and chase. And if sometimes happens at the beginning of the training where she, Bomber, would be the most amped and actually the most agile and quick one to go chasing the deer, would literally run off even though I told her to stay with me. But it's a big difference when I let her go of my own volition and when she runs off when I say no. She never ever goes far when I say no. She's always within earshot and she always comes running right back as soon as her instinct wears off and she remembers that I said no, or she realizes she's doing something that she was told not to do. Because she knows, even though she's doing it, it's just fighting that urge and that instinct and that rage, that sudden rush of adrenaline that they get when they see something like that. It's crazy to watch them evolve. It's amazing to be a part of their little pack that they have with the family of the dad, the puppy that they had together, and then 10-year-old mama still going strong, walking and keeping pace with the 5-year-old male, or 6-year-old male, and 4-year-old female. No, 6-year-old male, 5-year-old female. And she had 9 puppies, all female, all healthy, with little recovery time, and was healthy as can be, no complications, no lingering issues from it. They're in excellent health without any major accidents and operations other than your average day-to-day cuts and nicks here and there that happen just from life. Nothing super serious. But They're amazing. Full-blooded German Shepherds, a working line mixed with a family style bred German Shepherd, made a half working line and a half family German Shepherd, which I feel is the sweetest, most loving, caring, affectionate dog I've ever owned. And she just does not have one mean bone in her body. She doesn't get possessive over toys. She doesn't get aggressive or angry. She does bark at people, and she does be vocal whenever the other ones notice something change, like if somebody walks past the door or down the street, or there is a situation that they feel uneasy about. She will bark and let them know that something's up, to alert me and to alert them that it's not, I'm here and I will do something. But when she's in her state and she's home and safe and relaxed, she is the sweetest thing in the world. Not once has she ever tried to do anything aggressive to any other dog, any person, nothing. Never snapped, never growled, nothing. Now, this one, on the other hand, is very vocal. Came from Czechoslovakia. Very different as far as the breed from the American family's line of German Shepherds. He's taller, he's a lot more lean, and his fur and coat is a lot shorter. Kind of looks like a very tall version of a Malinois with bigger bone structure. The back does not curve down like you see the American show lines and the whatnot in the States. It goes kind of up the opposite way, in all honesty. Whereas her back doesn't curve, but it also doesn't go up like as pronounced as his does. The mixture of both of them together has made a female with basically this one's bone structure and this one's coloring, but she was the only one that came out with this longer fur, longer hairstyle. It did have red tips right here on the edge when she was a puppy. And he was actually, for his first year of life, was totally identical to coloring as this one here. All black, no tan, none of this blonde that you see in the back of his tail, his legs, on top of his head. This little crown of blonde that he's got on his cheeks. Thorn, come here, bud. Let me see you. On his nose, on his neck. Thorn, come, bud. Let me see you. On his belly. Super gorgeous. But it all appeared once we got him out in the sun and he enjoyed the water after taking him to swim 1,000 times and him watching his mama at the time, but later became his girlfriend, swim and enjoy the river down in the Braunfels. Now, loves the water, but has to be reminded that he loves it every time we go, unless we go back to back on a daily basis, which sometimes we do. Had a pool for a little while, so it made it a lot easier to be able to teach them to swim and have them out there in the water to work out. Swimming's the best thing for these dogs, the best. Gets their full range of motion, doesn't have any pressure or stress that it puts on the body. And if you are worried about them, swimming too far away from you or swimming for too long and not realizing how far and the water being so deep, they do make life jackets. They all three of mine have one, because this one at first would jump on her back thinking he was going to drown, and I was worried to death that he was going to push her under for too long because he got bigger and didn't realize how big he was. Now that he's full grown, he doesn't try to do that anymore, but the life jacket helps give him that reassurance that he knows that he can stay afloat in the water, because he is all bone and muscle. He didn't have really any fat on him, so they don't float typically like you would see some of these bigger Labradors have a little more fat on them sometimes. He's really lean, little fat. So is she. Nora, she floats a little. She's got a little more fluff, a little more chunky girl. But those neoprene life jackets, they don't label them as that, but they are definitely a must when I take them all three to the water, where I know it's going to be deep and I know it's going to be far, that they have the ability to swim to. If it's at a river where it's not that wide, I don't really think it's necessary, especially if I get in the water with them. But having them life jackets on them makes it so much easier to not get, oh great, you peed on her head. That's cool. Bomber, come here. Oh, Daddy peed on your head. Doran, why'd you pee on your daughter? That's nasty. I'm gonna call you R. Kelly. Pee on you, drip, drip, drip. Won't you braid my hair? Doo-doo butter, baby. Anyways, those life jackets make it easier for you not to get scratched to pieces when they're first learning how to swim, because they're going to come up to you, especially if you look like you're swimming and they don't know what it is yet. They may think that you're drowning, and their instinct is to go to you to try to take you out of the water to help you. But Nora, a lot of the time, will go to a child that has like a toddler's little floaties. We'll go to him and make sure he's okay and able to swim. When I have nephews or nieces coming over to hang out and swim in the pool, she will instinctively go to make sure that they're not drowning. These dogs are very protective of their family and others that they know and love. And even myself, when I'm swimming and they know I'm probably fine, they want to come up to me and for some reason rest and me hold them sometimes. And them having a life jacket on makes it way easier for me to even do that. And if they come at me two at a time, or if I'm in deeper water, I can actually hold on to the back of them without knowing that I'm going to drag them down while they swim me back to shore, which is pretty fun. I don't do that very often. I don't like to put any excess pressure or stress on them, especially the full size and weight of me. I don't want them to be afraid of any of the water, anything that had to do with it, especially while I'm teaching them to dive under the water to get rocks. Not real deep. The deepest they've gone about is 5 or 6 feet, but it has to be a clear water standpoints to where they can actually see what's down below. But now they've been in the water for so much of their life that they don't really have any second guessing anymore about it. The only thing that's hard for me to get with them now is the howling and barking that they do is when I initially leave the house, because I've moved so often this past couple of years. But getting a established routine that's consistent is very important and constantly difficult to provide them in an outside marketing and sales role where your day varies on when you get home and when you can take a lunch. What time? So we're getting there. Being a single doggy dad with 3 of these bad boys is a little more than I would have given myself to take on if I had chosen this. But family takes care of family, and these dogs mean the absolute world to me, and I would never ever imagine my life any different without them in it. And having the little piece of Nora, the one who started it all, spread and give others joy, and the 9 puppies that they produced gives me a sense of she will always be around, and I can always visit a portion of the Nora girl that I know and love so much. And eventually, whenever this one gets to a point to where we can find a suitable male and a place that we think is ideal for her to be raising puppies, and I'm more able to take care of puppies, be it to me where I'm single with doggy dad doing it, or where if I have a roommate come in to help me out while the pregnancy takes place. Definitely want to make sure they get the best care and best love and attention possible, like the last 9 did, because they constantly had a human being in their presence for the first 8 weeks of their life, which I think is so important, because this one bonded to me in this level of imprinting. And most people, I just say that she's imprinted to me like she does to her parent, like her mother. She didn't imprint with daddy, with this one, like she did to her mother, because naturally the puppies imprint on their mother when it's the first thing that they see when they open their eyes. But in the case when they first opened their eyes, and all many of these girls and these puppies, chances are it was me or my, at the time, that they saw first. So they imprinted maybe on Nora, maybe on me, maybe on the other girl helping me out do it at the time, which they don't get to see any longer, but that's the way things happen. But they would still remember every smell and aspect of her. As soon as they hear a voice, or they smell a smell that relates to it, they know that she may be nearby. They instinctively remember and get so excited to see her. It's sad to disappoint them, but that's what happens when life comes at you. Now with Bomber, she constantly spent more time with me than the other did. The others got to, because I got to take her with me to work during the crucial stages of her life, when she was from 8 to 10, 12 weeks old, to the point to where, well, I say that's way too early. She was definitely 8 weeks old at least, for sure, but she was probably a little older than that when she first went with me to work, and she'd stay the day with me, 1 day a week, but she'd be with me at work all day, experiencing people, experiencing different situations in a sales tractor dealership environment, where I had multiple responsibilities, but I was still able to take her out to potty and maintain her training without her pottying in the showroom or having any accidents too often. And it was a totally new environment, and that's the only place that she had ever been at that point. She'd never left my house, which is where she was born and where she stayed until she was 8-10 weeks old. We didn't have any vets that we took them to for a trip to do any checkups on them. We didn't have any trips to the parks or any exposure to any kind of risks that may get them sick and run into any kind of potential diseases, viruses. We were very isolated with the way we kept them for the first 8 weeks. We wanted to make sure they got as much socialization with each other, with each sisters. They got as much time with Nora to get as much nutrition as they need. We were super diligent about making sure they all got fed, because Nora, dogs only have 8 nipples, and that's maybe funny to somebody, but it's the facts. She only has 8 nipples, so 9 puppies, there's going to be 1 left out. So we would maintain rotating them in and out to make sure that there wasn't one that was being pushed off to the side and not fed as much as the others. We kind of just took the runt possibility off the table. We didn't really give any of them the chance of an upper hand on any of the others, except for Bomber. She was probably the strongest one that came out. I'm not sure if she was the first one that came out, but she was definitely the biggest, the fluffiest, the fattest, fastest, and my heart just sank as soon as I saw her, because she had the longest hair, and I have wanted a long-haired German Shepherd since I was a little boy. And despite having mostly the sable shepherds most of my life, I was so excited to see this all black one without any other coloring except for the socks on her feet and in her little belly. Despite that, she's all black, but she had red tips in her hair, and that long hair. It looked a lot longer when she was a puppy, though. She was fluff. She's like a little bear, and I just imprinted and bonded with her so instantaneously that she just stayed with me until she was able to go with me to work. And then every Wednesday, on each time I'd go each week to work, she would come with me once a week, which helped her get through those crucial stages when they need to be around other people in different situations where they don't get protective and aggressive in an environment that's new to them because they waited too long to go on new things like that. I think that I could have always taken her to other places and more places, but working full-time, wife working full-time, having 9 other puppies to not only feed and monitor, take care of, and find owners that were truly going to be as loving and care about them as much as we cared about ours and them. And we wanted to be able to have owners that took and adopted ours, that knew what they were getting into, did research, it wasn't an emotional impulse buy, and that they were going to put forth the effort and time to actually keep these dogs and maintain the day-to-day care and let them go on walks for 30 minutes twice a day, feed them what they need to be fed. They didn't have any risk of having any neglect or lack of nutrition. We wanted to make sure these dogs, for every possible scenario, were going to be well taken care of, like it was me myself taking care of them, which I would put them before myself, which I constantly have done. Maybe that's a mistake to many of you out there. I don't feel like it has been on everything, but these dogs are my family, and that's how I feel about them. Doesn't mean I'm totally head over heels in love with my dogs, or I don't have any interest in a life with people. I love people, but I love people that have the values that, honestly, I get used to having loyalty, honesty, and transparency the way I can be myself around them so often that if I can't continuously be the person that my dog knows me to be around other human people, then I typically don't like to be around those other human people, because my dogs are my life and a part of my life and my family. They aren't a decoration that I show off in front of people that just sit in my backyard when I'm not using them and put up in storage. They're living, breathing, feeling, emotional, intelligent animals that have the possibility to enrich every single situation and aspect of your life if you allow them to have that chance. Even with me having the 3 full-time, full big German Shepherds with so many needs and requirements, I still am able to get it done solo and not feel overwhelmed at the end of the day when I go to sleep, and maintain a healthy lifestyle of taking care of myself and my body and taking care of my business that it needs to be taken care of. It's been a challenge, and it continues to challenge me, but if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to overcome those challenges, because they are my support and my challenge, not only at the same time. Because if I imagine my life being single without my animals and my dogs and my family, my pack, it would be a miserable, boring, lonely existence, especially after knowing what I know now about relationships, about life, about everything in general, about my approach to different goals I have and dreams for myself and the people that I surround myself with. I wouldn't want to settle for someone that doesn't feel the same way about animals that I do, and I wouldn't want to be acting or faking just to be able to say that I wasn't alone at home a lot, just to sound like my life is more interesting than it is. I'm perfectly fine with saying that my life consists 90% of extracurricular activities that have to do with these dogs, and that's an enriching, fulfilling life. Every state park we've hit, every little creek and water hole in the hill country, all the exploring and adventures we go on has been made a truly memorable and enjoyable experience by watching them enjoy and experience it. I don't get to do all the things I probably would have done when I was a little younger as much as I would like to, just because I have to make sure that these guys are taken care of and not going to get hurt or put in danger in any form or fashion. But it doesn't take much effort to do so once you know what you're doing, and they have a routine that they're used to, and they know that you are the master and you are the alpha, and you maintain that sense of confidence with them at all times, so they know they can trust you to make good decisions for the entire family. That's where a lot of people have trouble with that, and it takes some skill and practice by training the animal, but it just takes the state of mind of believing in what you say, being 100% confident in your convictions when you say them. And if you know something that's coming out of your mouth is not truly you or authentic, it's easy for them to sense that. They have a sixth sense about people. They know if you don't believe it, well, you can't fake it around them. But when I say something that I mean it, they will come. Thorin, come now. Come, let's go now. Get over here. Let's go. Come. Now. Over here. Come. Now. He knows that I mean business, and he comes right to me because he knows I mean it. Hey, Bubba. Good boy. Good job. It doesn't have to be rude, it doesn't have to be mean. It just has to be stern, confident, vocal, loud enough for them to hear. Just mean what you say. I tell people to think about a situation and where if that dog was about to run across the street and get run over possibly, which may be too extreme of an example, or if it was going to go and across the street and maybe try to go get into another person's yard to get into a dog fight, and you had to absolutely make sure that they listened to you, otherwise there's going to be your dog hurting or, you know, somehow injured from the situation getting worse, and you instinctively yell out to that dog to come, with the dog being trained to know what the come command means. It hears your name, you say his name, hears your voice, he's going to come. 90% of the time he's going to come, and ignore his prey drive that tells him to go chase that other dog. It's a difficult thing to overcome, but when they know that you mean what you say and you're confident in your statements, not requesting them, you're telling them what to do, and they know that you mean it, they will come. They'll do what you ask. But you have to be patient, you have to be nice, and you have to be calm, you have to be... It has to come from a good place in your heart, not from a place of anger, not from a place of aggression, not from a place of frustration, from a place of confidence in yourself, confidence in your ability to maintain control, and trust. They have to trust you. If you don't know what you're doing, that's okay. But educate yourself and learn how to do the things that you're trying to achieve, so that whenever you do ask them to do something that you need them to listen to without fail, they trust that you mean what they say, what you say for them to do, without having any doubts in their head, thinking that they know they have to look out for themselves. That trumps your request because they think you don't have the capability to look out for them or the pack. That's why a male will take place as an alpha in place of the wife or girlfriend or female in the home when there's a male present half the time. And when he leaves, all of a sudden the woman is run over by the male dog. He takes over as the alpha male in that critical role for the pack. And if the female does not learn to be demanding and confident, that dog will never submit to her and listen to anything she has to say, and constantly just run her over. This male, he challenges me and he tests me every once in a while. They do. All people and animals are going to push the limits of what they're capable of doing, but he doesn't do it 24/7. He doesn't do it to the extreme of it's uncontrollable. He also doesn't do it. Watch your head, Bubba. Repeatedly in the same exact situation. It's always a different variation of the situation that he tries. Very smart-like. Always tries to change it up because he thinks it may somehow vary if this variable has changed. Too smart for his own good. Does that feel good, Horkai? You got your little piles on the puddle? Now I'm going to clean you up with the towel, huh? Okay. Yep. You can get some more? Scoot your head. Scoot your head. Watch your head, Scooter. Watch your head. Here it comes. Woo! It's coming at you. I'm going to spray your head, boy. Get you some water. Okay, I'll stop for a second. Get you some water. Go ahead. Get your drink. Get your drink, boy. Good boy.